We're live, waiting for Jackson to come off. It is January 5th. And Luke just asked me how Florida was. I talked about it yesterday. Florida was awesome. You should just transfer to Stetson or something. You should just transfer law schools
Oh, well, who knows?
and move in and just move in with me and Nikki.
Who knows?
St. Petersburg or dude, Nova Southeastern. I sent you the videos. Isn't that campus fucking nice?
Yeah, it's pretty nice, man. I didn't expect it to be that nice.
So we thought St. Thomas was going to be what Nova Southeastern looked like, and Nova was going to be like St. Thomas. Dude, we pulled to St. Thomas, and it was like connected to a high school, and it was all gated off, like not in a nice area. And we're like,
oh,
we couldn't even get inside, and we're like,
yeah, you're like Nova Southeastern was a spot.
And then we pulled up, and it's in Fort Lauderdale, like right outside of Fort Lauderdale and Davie, but it's technically Fort Lauderdale. My dad explained to me, he's like Nova Southeastern was one of those schools that like when I lived there in the 80s was really small, but they bought like a shit ton of land for cheap. And over like the last 30 years, they've just been getting a shit, probably, a shit ton of endowment and money.
Yeah, because they are starting to have more rich alumni as it goes.
Yeah, because you saw one of them is the Carl DeSantis building.
Yeah.
All right, so
if I get a job in Florida, who knows?
So we pulled in, Nova Southeastern. We're like, and it's like a nice quiet area, and we're like, what? So like, if I went to FAU, she would go to Nova, but obviously, dream Miami, fucking the U. Yeah, the dream is the U.
The dream is the U, but the U is fucking hard to get into for law school. So
yeah, and besides that, just even living financially, like we probably would have to do student housing or commute.
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive as fuck to live there. Whereas like if you live in like St. Pete.
Yeah, St. Pete's literally, okay, listen to this. For a 1-bedroom in like Miami or Fort Lauderdale in a place we would want to live. Like in a place we'd actually want to live. That's nice. You have to keep in like like in a decent place. That's also like because when I say these rent prices, are there cheaper places to live? Yes, but like that's not where I want to live.
You want to live somewhere nice enough.
So. You're nice enough and close enough to you get what I mean for someone already.
Exactly.
And so in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale was a few $100s cheaper, but basically for a 1-bedroom with a living room, just basically $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
In Miami and Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah, Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
I mean, that makes sense.
And then you had in St. Petersburg for a 2-bedroom downtown, like literally like St. Petersburg downtown, 5 minutes from like the the city beach and shit like that, and literally 5 minutes from walking from the campus of
You're close to Tampa too, so
yeah, and 10-minute drive to Nikki's law school, literally 1,500, like 1,400 to 2,000.
Yeah, like that. See, like St. Pete's way cheaper. Like you're trying to save money, so.
And that's the thing, and like also
it's still nice.
Like I'm really going on my football stuff, and we have like what's it called? Jackson wants to not only build a studio for this show, because this is more of our hobby thing, but he wants to have like an office space to record his shit because he makes like fucking like $5,000-$6,000 a month off of YouTube.
Yeah.
So like this is his full-time job. So like it's just more realistically it's St. Pete, but like dream Miami.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Stetson is sick. They all the law schools in Florida have swimming pools.
Yeah, I saw the fucking Stetson swimming pool. That's unbelievable, dude. Why don't we have shit like that at KU? We have more money.
Okay. You saw that building? That was like the main campus building. Okay, that wasn't even the library. That was just like the student center. Like you can just go. Like if Nikki went there, I would just be able to go and just swim in my.
Yeah, you can just go whenever you want.
Yeah, and Nova Southeastern and Miami had one. Miami, even if I went there, I would be able to use it. So would Nikki. Just all the schools have.
Yeah, like it's fucking sick.
Pools. That's also the other thing. Like if you lived there, or if Jackson lived with me, we didn't even have to worry about if the apartment wherever we lived had pools. We could just be like, "Yo, we're going to law school. We're going over to the law school to go for a swim."
Go to the library, study, and swim after, dude. That shit is nice.
People ask us for a code. We just say we're Nikki Peratt.
We're with Nikki.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I'm definitely gonna come visit you guys at some point down there. So,
dude, it'd be dope. Swag exactly being to the Knicks would be sick. We're just waiting for Jackson to get on here to start talking actual NBA. But today we have rounded up. We'll be talking the Boston Celtics Spurs trade, which was basically just a money deal. Then we'll be talking the Nets lost. We'll also talk Saddiq Bey hitting the game winner. Saddiq Bey off the trade block. And Bucks Raptors. Holy shit. No one's talking about the 12 turnovers Giannis Antetokounmpo had last night. That game was an absolute shit show. But in the weird turn, like Scotty Barnes might have been reborn in that second half. And the Phoenix Suns are struggling. Then we'll talk about Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. And Swaggy, why don't you hop on, pussy? Just hop on. Jackson, send him a link.
I only watch the Knicks and the Pelicans. That's what he's gonna comment.
We're talking Knicks, but either way, let's start off with something I tweeted earlier, and that was the fact that we just saw Noah Vonleh, the guy that they signed this offseason. I mean, Blake Griffin took his job, let's be honest, and as the backup center, as the third string. Luke Cornett and Blake Griffin beat out the lottery pick, who's still only 27 years old. And I originally was making the video thinking that the Spurs were going to keep him, but no, that just did not happen. And basically, after doing some research, and I think it was originally a sports.
What is that?
I put on the wrong thing, bro.
After doing some research, I found out that the $21,000 Subaru is better than $40,000.
Dude, that was my fucking.
Look at the Spurs, man. They cut that $20,000 Subaru right after trading for him.
That was a video that I started to watch during lunch and did not enjoy, and just turned it off. Like, didn't delete the tab. And I just changed it. But either way.
Why'd you watch it? Why would you watch that about a Subaru?
Because I've seen every video in that series.
What was that?
He's being talked to by the housekeeper right now in Spanish. Decime, ¿cómo estás? ¿Estás practicando tu español con los hombres del hotel? ¿Están limpiando tu cuarto?
I should have had you at least helping that.
Yeah, I could have.
Well, yeah, so I didn't want to say it, but for the last 8 minutes, there's been somebody in my room. So
you're. Dude, it's so funny. When I make videos, I'll be on campus, and I'm like so immune to making videos around people that I look like crazy. I'm literally walking down like Jayhawk Boulevard, literally talking full on. Like, if you knew NBA, you knew what I was talking about. But like, this guy's just like walking to class.
This guy's walking around talking about Noah Vonleh and Saddiq Bey. And if you don't know
that's exactly what would happen when we first started doing the show. I would like start watching Cyro's videos maybe more commonly, and they'd always be like in the quad or in the library, and I'm like, I just don't. And you'd always like say nothing about it, or you'd keep it super vague, like, all right, what's up, guys, we're here on KU campus, and you just do like an 8-minute video, and it's like, well, all right, that's cool. Okay.
Dude, sometimes I wouldn't even be on the way to class. I'd be in the middle of class and I just walk out and just leave the building and just make a video.
I would do the same thing, but I would miss class on like big days like trade deadline day or like.
Yeah. I mean, it's trade deadline day.
Exactly.
Trade deadline
priorities.
All right, let's go.
Tell me this trade, because I don't know what you guys are talking about.
So, okay, basically the reason this trade went down was for financial reasons. I think right now, before this, they were at $23 million over the luxury cap to start the season. And by spending, so the most you can send in a cash consideration, we found out this offseason was, I think, $300,000 is the most you can send a team in cash consideration. They rarely say how much it is. Like, the Jock Landale, he was traded for the minimum cash consideration, which was $65,000. They literally traded Jock Landale for $65,000 this offseason. Okay, the Atlanta Hawks, the Suns paid $65,000 to acquire Jock Landale. In this scenario, the Celtics called up the Spurs and they said, "Hey, we'll send you Noah Vonleh and between $65,000 and $300,000." And you guys don't send us anything. And deal. And basically the Spurs go, okay, we're going to waive both Gorgie Dang and Noah Vonleh. Now they have a free one. Now they only have 14 roster spots filled, which means the Spurs have one roster spot open, so they can bring a guy up from a 2-way contract and then sign somebody else to a 2-way contract. Or in a few days, 10-day contracts are about to start. And probably similar, the Celtics are probably going to start bringing in multiple veterans on 10-day contracts to decide who they're going to want to bring into the playoffs. And the reason the Celtics did this is now by spending a few $1,000s, they now save $7 million, which means they're down to $16 million. And if they were hoping to pay already $23 million in luxury tax, they arguably can spend a bit more in free agency than the minimum. And by doing this, the Celtics having Noah Vonleh waived by the Spurs allows the Celtics to get a portion of their luxury tax distributed to a non-tax paying team, such as the San Antonio Spurs. So, like Jalen Johnson, basically a money move. This allows them, I think it's January 10th or January 15th, you're allowed to start signing 10-day contracts for them to start doing tryouts with players that they could potentially bring on to a full-time contract now that I believe they have 2 roster spaces or 1 roster space open. I think they already had 1 open to start the season. Now they're at 2 to maybe bring 1 or 2 guys in. What is your...
Correct me if I'm wrong. I saw something in a bunch of Twitter replies. I don't know if it's actually true, and I can't see anything on like Spotrac about his contract. Apparently, he would have been guaranteed like the rest of the deal or something if they kept him past like January 15th or something like that. So like there was the time to get rid of him. They had to offload his salary now. So I'm fine with it. Like he wasn't playing for us at all. He
started off the season
He
started off the season like the first week or two. And you're like, oh no, Vonleh, he might have been reborn as a backup center. And then it was just like, no, Blake Griffin's hustle and Luke Cornett's shadow defense works.
Yeah, Noah Vonleh was a lottery pick, man. That's kind of wild to think about because it just like he just hasn't really panned out. And the Spurs The Spurs didn't have any use for him because they're tanking. So
when I made the video, I thought they were keeping him because they were like, oh, Gorgie Jang's 32, Noah Vonleh's 27, same type of player. Just switch them out.
And they said, fuck it, get rid of both of them.
But they got rid of both of them. And this is the thing is people don't realize is Noah Vonleh, guys who were drafted between 2011 and 2014, half of them didn't pan out. And it was because they were caught in the transition era when we were like, think about it. That was the same time where like I think Jahlil Okafor might have been 2015, right? Or whatever.
He was 15, but that was like the very end of that era.
So you got like Derek Williams is another example. Wesley Johnson figured it out at the end of his career, but he didn't figure it out for the first 2/3 of his career. And there was a lot of guys that the NBA was transitioning, phasing out that, more mid-range, style of basketball that was a bit slower pace where you needed to be a bit bigger to more of these longer, lanky guys. That's why Wesley Johnson, we talked one time, you and I, Luke, when we were smoking, was that Wesley Johnson would still be a top pick in like today's draft. Like if you like the same prospect, like Wesley Johnson would still be like a top pick in the NBA, lottery pick in the NBA draft. Maybe even go higher because of his profile.
Yeah, he still would have been a top 5 pick, I think.
And there's multiple guys that they got caught. Noah Vonleh, if he came out, he would have had to been a center to start, but he was a power forward. And then like it just there's so many of these big guys who were power forwards, but then they became too slow to be power forwards, but they weren't strong or long enough to be centers. And I think Vonleh is one of it. So like
Yeah, Luke, can you see the chat?
No, I can't see the chat. What's going on?
That's what
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. TP, it runs in my family, so I've been screwed.
Yes.
I'm not alone.
I love how I heard Jackson start laughing, and I was like, why is he laughing? I look over, I don't see anything. I look at the chat, and then I read it. I don't know if you saw my face reading it, and I started laughing.
Oh.
So, okay, Zach, you're asking what the Spurs got out of this is money. They probably got like $300,000 and they got like cash and they did a favor to the Boston Celtics. In the long term, they did a favor. And when you do another team a favor, if the Spurs were to do something in the future, like a big team trade, and they needed another team to come in, and if the Celtics so happen to have a couple guys that the Spurs would think that they would be fine expending them, certainly like how Daniel Tice and Aaron Nesmith were like this past offseason, R.C. Buford and Greg Popovich can now call up Brad Stevens and be like, hey, we helped you out with that luxury tax thing this past season. We kind of need a deal, and Peyton Pritchard is somebody that so-and-so team's interested in. They'll send you a couple second-round picks, and maybe we'll send you a couple second-round picks and some money. We scratched your back. Now I scratch your back. This is what the Spurs got besides the cash. What do you think, Luke and Jackson? Do you think that's really the only thing I can think about that they took out of it?
Yeah, like it was just a money move for both sides. The Spurs are a tanking team, and the Celtics needed to find a tanking team to dump salary off of. So it worked out for both teams, I guess. It worked out for both teams. It's an inconsequential deal, but for the Spurs, really. But for the Celtics, we get to lower the luxury tax payment. So win-win for everybody. Nothing really changes as far as on-court outlook, but in the future, they might be some other trades involving the Celtics and the Spurs.
Yeah, the Celtics are desperate for cash.
They are desperate. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, that shit was insane.
Bang.
That was wild.
30, and it didn't even matter.
That was wild. How you just hit that. Kellyan Hayes with the assist.
Yeah, I know. Really great assist on the inbound pass. Very, very, very skillful play there from Kellyan Hayes.
Good passer. Good pass guy.
Are we gonna? So is Saddiq Bey still on the block?
Yes, he's still on the block. He hit one game there. I get they won the game, but they're a tanking team. Yes, he's still on the block.
He's on.
Great shot, though. Great shot to win the game.
Yeah, good shot.
Like, I know they're tanking, but it's always nice to pick up a few clutch wins like that. But no, he's still on the trade block.
Yeah.
Jackson?
I like Saddiq Bey a lot. I know he's seeing a decrease in points right now, but fun fact, Saddiq Bey played every single game for the Detroit Pistons last season. So continuity is king.
Who else were they going to play?
Well, go fuck yourself, first off. But secondly, players get injured, as we see day in and day out. But I think Saddiq Bey, he's your prototypical 3-and-D type player that hasn't quite taken that leap. And, Bogdanovich or Bohan probably isn't necessarily helping him, but Cade's out for the year and Saddiq's not shooting over 40% from the field, so he's in his third year. You got a contract situation coming up shortly here. It's probably in their best interest to unload on a player who stays healthy, can make threes, can play some defense, and still is going to give you double-digit points regardless. So
I wonder which contender is going to pick him up, because I think that's his market right now.
Chicago Bulls.
Maybe.
Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. I wonder which playoff contender that is struggling a little bit right now will pick him up, because I think that's his market. Teams like
Toronto.
So what I think the best way it works out is if you can work out a deal for Jake Crowder. Okay, like let's say hear me out.
Every day. It's every day we talk about this bum-ass Jay Crowder.
Shut up.
He ruins locker rooms.
Listen. Listen to this. You hit up the Wizards again. And you're like, hey, we don't want Rui. But a team that could want Rui is the Pistons. You send Rui in a first-round pick, or Rui, they don't have a first-round pick, the Wizards. Rui in a second-round pick to Detroit. We'll send Jay Crowder to you guys, and we'll attach a first-round pick also to Detroit. Saddiq Bey goes to the Suns.
It's not bad. It's not a bad offer. I can see it.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins right there. The Wizards get somebody that they wanted. Rui's on his way out, and he goes to a team where if he gets traded to the Pistons, they get his restricted free agency rights. So if he balls out for the rest of the season, they can do what they did with Marvin Bagley last year, and they have a history of doing this. And they did with Josh Jackson a few seasons ago. And then they go out and they send Saddiq to the Suns, where he kind of fits perfectly behind Mikal Bridges, and in the interim with Cam Johnson being out.
And the Suns get rid of Jay Crowder. Everybody wins.
I really feel like that's the best deal that hasn't been floated out there.
Rui Hachimura is a pretty good deal, but
Yeah, but who's going to take Jay Crowder?
The Wizards, they've literally hit up the Suns, and they said
if they take him, he could, I don't know, man. Jay Crowder kind of sucks, man. They
offered a straight up, I think it was a straight up swap or a Rui in a second for Jay, and the Suns said no. And everyone,
I can't believe they turned that down.
Yeah, why?
I don't know why at all. That hurts my brain. But they're the Suns, so they're gonna.
That's a decent deal.
The Suns are going to do what the Suns are going to do, which is make dumb decisions. This is the same organization that let a restricted free agent Joe Johnson walk. So, they're going to make dumb decisions. It's what they do.
They've never won it, have they?
No.
They could have if they had Joe Johnson on that mid-2000 Suns team with Steve and Amari and Sean Marion. But they were like, nah, he's too expensive. We'll let him go to the Hawks and not match the contract.
They're so cheap.
Yeah, Robert Sarver. He's not there anymore, but Robert Sarver.
No, he still is. He still is.
For the rest of the season?
Till past the trade deadline.
Okay. But, Robert Sarver is a cheap bastard, and he's made that known time and time again. So we'll see if things changes under new ownership. But under Sarver, that shit ain't changing at all.
All right. We'll talk Suns more in a second, but the Nets lost. What do you guys think? Are the Nets drowning or one fluke to – I'm just kidding. It's like they lost to the Chicago Bulls, and good game by the Bulls, but what do you guys take from this? Silent air.
Good win for the Bulls, man.
Right.
Not a good win for the Bulls. Jackson's boys really stepped up. They still got a ways to go, but it's a step in the right direction, I guess.
Are the Bulls turning the season around? They beat the best team in the NBA since November 1st.
KD had 40 points on 20 shots, something like that. 44 on 22 shots.
It was just a fluke game. It was a fluke game.
Yeah, fluke games happen.
Couldn't go forever.
The Thunder dropped 150 on us Thursday night when I said that they would beat the Celtics, and they came out without Shea and dropped 150 on us. Fluke games happen in this league, but
yeah, fluke games do happen. We all know the Boston Celtics are fraudulent, but I get what you're saying, right? I get what you're saying. So let me paint you a picture for you. Non-Bull supporters. Let me give a situation as both of you kind of alluded to. Let me tell you, a player named Kevin Durant. Well, what did Brooklyn win? 13 straight. Let's say Kevin Durant scores 44. Right. Let's say Kyrie drops 25, and let's say on the contrary that Zach LaVine has a whopping 13 points, and DeMar DeRozan has 22. And let me finish that with the Chicago Bulls won. So I think very clearly the Chicago Bulls are back. We have major defensive issues, but guys named Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic, and
Ayo that don't show up ever showed up for one game again.
Okay,
the Brooklyn Nets are title contenders. Okay, the Chicago Bulls would be happy to make the play-in at this point.
Most of that statement was correct. They played more through Nikola Vucevic, which is the way to do it. Zach LaVine is not a number one option, and he's questioning his role with the team as he should, because typically when you're paid a max contract and you score 13 points and you're our number one option, doesn't.
They paid him the max contract because you don't let a player walk away.
I know, but he's questioning his role, and I'm also questioning his role. We're all questioning his role. He's not alone in that facet.
Either of these teams would be better with John Collins on them.
You can.
Yeah, John Collins, man.
You cannot botch that right now. But you know what? You're right about Patrick Williams. But I will say, watching all these Bulls games, it's not showing up in the stat sheet every game because it's really inconsistent, which is his biggest flaw. But the games where Patrick Williams does show up, yesterday was kind of an outlier. But there are games where Pat has, 8 to 10 points, 12 points or what have you. maybe one.
How does average the same stats for 3 seasons, bro?
Okay, but my point
is
the
same stats for 3 seasons.
So is John Collins. Oh wait, no, he's declined for 3 seasons. So my point is
Patrick Williams. There wasn't even a John Collins segment.
Okay, I see. So, okay,
you're trying to sell me that the Chicago Bulls beat the Brooklyn Nets, and this is them turning around their season.
Well, what I'm saying is the Bulls.
As I said, this is a fluke game for the
20-point scorers, and expecting Pat Will to drop 20 is a little, But my point is, and it still is, that Patrick Williams has impacts on these games in inconsistent. Like if he drops 8 to 12 points, he's still they're still impressing me. He's still impressing me. Like sometimes it's on his own. So my point is, yes, Patrick Williams is extremely inconsistent. But if we had a 22-7 with 2 steals and 6 of 8 from the field and 3 or 4 from downtown Patrick Williams, the Bull season would be a lot more comforting to me. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the Bulls are better than the Raptors. Sorry, Thomas, right now, but I'm not giving up on the season. Yes, we'll probably be in the play-in, but if Lonzo Ball were to ever come back healthy for our team,
the Bulls had 6 more turnovers. The Bulls had 6 more turnovers, 3 less assists. They had 13 more rebounds. Okay,
our bench went off.
Okay, dude, they went to the free throw line 8 more times only.
How's this?
They only shot 23 pointers. Made 8 of them.
Well, my biggest takeaway with this game is that the Brooklyn Nets desperately need another score off the bench. It's not always Seth Curry, but they need another. They just need another reliable score. But you need a reliable score, is what I'm saying.
It was a fluke loss for the Nets, but this does say something good about the Bulls. The fact that they can win when Zach LaVine plays like shit and when DeMar doesn't necessarily have his best game. I'm not saying they're going to turn on their season off of one game. It's too early to overreact to that because by that logic, the Thunder would be the best team in the fucking league. But it's positives. It's positives. The fact that Zach LaVine played like shit and they still won and they beat the Nets despite KD scoring 40. The Bulls, it's positive for them. They can turn their season around, and they have all of the opportunity to fucking do it because the bottom of the East isn't great right now. So there's no reason this team shouldn't be in the play-in. Now, will they be in the play-in? I don't know, but there's no reason that they shouldn't be, especially if Lonzo comes back.
Yeah. I think, as I was texting guys last night, we're hardly ever wrong, and I was saying Royce O'Neal has very little impact on this Brooklyn Nets team. I want to point out to Cyro Asseo. I want to point out to Mr. Cyro Asseo that Mr. Royce O'Neal went 0 of 9 from the field and 0 of 8 from downtown.
Okay, PJ Tucker makes it, and PJ got paid $11 million a year not to score. Okay, and he's still out there playing. There's guys out there you don't always need to score. It's the defense, it's the rebounding, it's the pass.
I'm just not seeing with Royce O'Neal this year. I know he's averaging.
Okay, but Cyro, he went 0 of 9 from the field, man. I get not needing to score.
One bad game. One bad game.
He's shooting 40% on the season.
He hasn't been phenomenal. Let's look at his splits for this. Let's look at his.
You paid the guy $7 million. You can't be complaining for his production.
But he's been less than adequate for them.
Yeah, less than adequate for them right now in this moment, and he's a 40%. He's a 40% 3-point shooter.
Yep.
So most of the time, his value is what it is. He'll
more touches. All you're telling me is more touches.
No, I'm not telling you more touches. He's not a guy that's gonna. His numbers will drop if he gets more shots. He's not a high volume shooter, high volume scorer. He's gonna hit
career 7-point per game. Just needs more touches.
He's gonna hit They've been holding him back.
Royce O'Neal is an all-star, damn it! That's what you sound like right now. Oh. Royce O'Neal. I mean, he just should.
If Ben Simmons can transform from a 16 points per game score to an 8-point per game score, I believe Royce O'Neal can do the opposite and go from a 7 to the 16 points per game score.
All right, man. All right, whatever you say.
I know I give Royce a harder time. It's just because I think that I don't actually understand. It has to probably do with money. I don't know why they gave up on Brown. Because Brown would be exponentially better than Royce O'Neal right now.
Money. It's all about money, buddy.
As Pink Floyd said, baby.
All right, let's move over to the shittiest game on television last night. I'm just kidding. Dude, Giannis had 12
Yeah, it
turnovers.
really was.
That first quarter was fucking awful, dude. They looked
What
like
was this?
college. They looked like
13
college
to
kids out
12?
there.
I don't know, man. I just watched this game. First off, Scotty Barnes looked like Scotty Barnes rookie year version, like in the second half.
In the fourth quarter and overtime. That's it.
fourth.
He had 0 points until the fourth.
Yeah, fourth quarter. Yeah, Scotty Barnes was just like, I don't know how to play basketball, but then the fourth quarter turned on. He was like, dude, I remember. I'm gonna attack that paint. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's no identity with the Toronto Raptors, right?
Yeah, the Raptors fucking suck.
I mean,
anyone...
they erased a 21-point deficit in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
not that bad.
Well,
I mean, there's no identity with this team, and like they're struggling, and they.
So what's their identity?
They're playing. There isn't one.
Oh yeah,
that's why they suck.
That's why I said there's no identity with this team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's like they're playing their way out of the playoffs right now. That's what they're doing.
Anyone want to take a stab at how many bench points they had?
I don't know.
5.
Yeah, 0-7.
Like I guess they had 2 from Precious and 5 from Chris Boucher. Like
so,
dude, like there's definitely somebody that they can trade that can give them some point. Like sign Isaiah Thomas at this point.
Like sign Melo, man. Fuck.
Like literally. Like
both
Nick
teams
Nurse,
in the first half went on 0 of 12. Both teams missed 12 straight shots in the first half.
Yeah, that game, dude, it was 13-12 at the end of the first quarter.
Lowest first quarter
it's
score.
Weird because you have Nick Nurse, who's like one of the best.
Oh my god, both teams failed to break 40 in the first half. That was fucking awful.
But the worst part about
7 is pretty good for the Raptors bench, considering last year. 7's not bad, right?
Wait, listen to this. This is the worst thing to take from this game. Like right now, we're taking away that the Raptors are a mess. But like, you know what I think we should take away from this game? The Milwaukee Bucks' biggest weakness is Giannis himself.
Ooh, I would argue their biggest weakness is no one's healthy.
Let's not go there, man. Like I know he had like 12 turnovers, but he had a 30-point, 20 rebound triple double.
But I'm saying, like, dude, we've seen it in the playoffs. Like,
we've seen him have 50 in a closeout game in the NBA Finals, dog.
Okay, fuck you. But what I'm saying, you're not letting me get to my point. Giannis, when he's down, and like especially when he doesn't have teammates around him, we've seen it. He sometimes plays too much with his emotions on his sleeves and starts to make boneheaded plays.
You know, when I have a player named AJ Green, who I don't know if anybody here knew that there's an AJ Green not in the NFL that's in the NBA, and he's getting double-digit minutes, I would say they're struggling, and I will say dissing a guy who had a 30-point triple-double with 21 rebounds isn't the best. But I see what you're saying. But typically when teams miss 2 starters, they struggle.
And they still won, dude. They blew it. They still won. He scored 13 points in the first quarter, didn't break 40 in the first half, and they still won the fucking game. Like, against the team that has a chance to be in the playoffs.
I have a question. Is this fucked up? If you were a team and it's the NBA Finals, I would just have like 4 guys on the bench that I don't expect to play, start them in the game, and then just have them try to Tanya Harding Giannis at like the beginning of every single Finals game. Like with their body and chop block him.
Jeez, that's pulling a Giannis on Giannis right there with the chop block.
Just now, immediately of the game, it's the NBA Finals. I put out there like fucking like I side like before the thing. I don't even know who would be like Theo Penson. If it's like the Dallas Mavericks, they put Theo Penson.
Patrick Beverly, him in the playoffs. Like what?
The tip off starts.
Nobody goes for
yes.
That him in the playoffs.
Just shot block Giannis. And they do that the whole game until all 3 of those players get ejected. And then the next game, they do it again until those 3 players get ejected. And they're just like,
I'm so glad you've come across that Giannis is a dirty player and he knows exactly what he's doing, because all offseason I harped on this, that he injured Kyrie.
It was the finger in the butt that got me. The finger in the butt. He stuck his
that was funny as fuck.
Giannis Antetokounmpo stuck his finger up Kevin Durant's butthole. Like, and it was Kevin Durant was defending him. So like Giannis reached around and like,
yeah, because he had to get to the basket.
And dude, but like Kevin Durant stopped. Dude, it was so excessive that Kevin Durant stopped playing basketball and looked at the ref.
Yeah, because he's like, "What the fuck? This guy just fingered me."
He just got a fucking prostate exam. Yeah.
He just fingered his asshole in a live basketball game.
Giannis probably could have told him how his fucking prostate glands were if he had cancer or not.
Oh, yeah, he gave me
like an episode of the Joker. It's like a punishment from IJ. And I do just want to add real quick to Cyro's point, because we have Celtics Luke in here, which is actually, doesn't Pat McAfee have a team and name? Isn't there a guy? Team
Boston
name?
Connor.
Yeah. Since we got Celtics Luke in here, and I've made it a mission to take any Celtics jab possible ever since Luke's come on the show. Fun fact for you guys, without Chris Middleton, the Boston Celtics almost lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, and it took them 7 games. So
yeah, I watched that series, man, because Giannis single-handedly carried them to almost beating us. So I watched that series, but did we lose, Jackson?
No,
that's fucking right. We're the Eastern Conference champions.
Yo, let's be honest. You guys are Eastern Conference champions because okay.
Because the Bulls are rebuilding, retooling. It's the only reason. And the Raps don't have bench scoring. Those are the only.
What was the Eastern? What was it? 3-2. The Celtics won or 3-1?
For what?
The Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, we played 7 games against the Bucks and the Heat because Jimmy Butler had a game.
Yeah, it was 7 games. I remember because
I fixed LeBron in Boston where he dropped 48 on us, and I was like,
I had a job interview.
We're gonna lose. Fucking 10 years and a day, or like 2 days after LeBron's Game 6 performance in Boston, Jimmy Butler did the same shit.
Whoa, you got golf clubs behind you, dude.
Oh yeah, they're carries.
Hell yeah.
So I had a job interview like 2 days after the Miami Heat game, and literally like I was talking about my YouTube channel with like the news station director, and he goes and he literally goes like halfway through our combo, he goes, "What do you think of Jimmy Butler's shot?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Should he take it or not?" And I was like, "I don't know if this is a quick trick question or anything." I was like, "Yeah." Like, I was like, "Game on the line." I was like, "Game on the line." Like 2 seconds left. Al Horford's drop covering. So it was either you got to go through Al Horford to the rim, okay, and you're dead tired, like you're in OT, like whatever it was, like you're not trying to go for the fucking tie. Like if I'm Jimmy Butler, I don't go for ties. I go for the fucking win, okay?
Yeah.
And it was a good luck. The other thing, good luck. He just bricked it.
Yeah, it's just, literally. I was about to say that shot. 10 out of 10 times, any fucking basketball coach that has a brain cell would tell you to take it.
I mean, he's not the best 3-point shooter, but like he was like
he was hot. He was hot.
He was on all night. He was open. I mean,
Jimmy.
The good look. I mean,
take the shot.
You go for the win.
I thought it was going to go in when he shot it.
You play the game to win. You play
to win games.
The game. Right, I lost speaking right there, but.
Well, would you rather have JB, the G stands for gets, take that shot, or would you rather have Mr. Lowry, who's
I'd rather have Chris Paul
or Duncan Robinson? Who would you rather have, Duncan Robinson or Jimmy Butler? Come on now. It's Jimmy Butler, man. And what does the G stand for, Jackson?
Gets.
There we go.
Does anyone want to take since we got a Raptor fan in the comment section? Anyone want to take a guess on Kyle Lowry's
I was
First off, TP, Kevin Garnett literally says in his autobiography, when I read it, he literally has a chapter for Kendrick Perkins and literally says that they would have won the championship if he hadn't gotten hurt. And also would have won the championship if KG hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, Perk wasn't a scorer, but he was one of those guys that you didn't need him to fucking score because we had Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce.
Yeah, that was my 4th or 5th season watching basketball.
great rebounder, great defender, and the Ron Artest shot just kind of tanked me.
Everyone dogs Perkins for his stats, but people don't realize Perkins again played in a different era where his role was literally to average like 8 rebounds and a few blocks, and then points were only
he was not supposed to shoot unless it was a putback. Like that was like we didn't need him to shoot because we had everybody, and then we had
shooters. He was a first-round pick.
Yeah, like
the hell on.
We had shooters coming off the bench like microwave Eddie House and Leon Poe also to score if we needed to. Like we did not need him to shoot.
Don't get me wrong, I don't like Kendrick Perkins on TV.
Carry on.
He's funny, man. What do you mean? He's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, he's a personality.
Okay, I take that back. I like him as an entertainer. I don't like his basketball takes sometimes.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's a good take. I'll agree with that.
He tries to be entertaining and funny like Shaq, but then he tries to dish out wisdom like he's Shaq. But I'm like, bro, you don't have like the resume like Shaq. Like again, you good player, but like he tries to like say stuff like, I'm like, bro, like Shaq was like legit like MVP, like Shaq.
Yeah,
okay,
Shaq, man, he's the most dominant player and like most unguardable player in NBA history. Like prime.
Like
Shaq.
sometimes when Kendrick Perkins, this is just from a fan's perspective. Obviously, I'm not a player or anything. I just feel like sometimes his punditry, he just tries to, he doesn't stay in his lane. He tries to act like he was in the same lane and like dish on Kevin Durant and like the top dogs. I'm like, bro, like you weren't ever in their tier. Like you were never in that. Like,
I mean, but like at the end of the day, like he was a leader and he was a veteran leader in like both the Celtics locker room and the Thunder locker room. Like,
yeah, no, you're right. No, I'm not trying to take anything away.
I'll take him over Shaq as far as being on TV.
I just think he tries to give too many hot takes.
Dude in the NBA on TV.
Well, Shaq and like Charles Barkley just always go after the young guys because like
they really do.
Because they view that like their era was better and tougher than those guys.
Yeah.
These young kids.
Richard Jefferson's the best former NBA player on TV.
Yeah, I love
recent former NBA player.
I love RJ.
Richard Jefferson never. Also another great one.
Funny and he has great takes.
Matt Barnes is another really good one.
Yes, those guys are entertaining and they actually have good basketball.
Yeah, Matt Barnes, Richard Jefferson, and you know who's another one? Channing Frye. He's also in the media field too. He's not as big as them, but he does like his own shit with like I think smaller networks. Those three are like.
Yeah, him and RJ were like they at least I don't know if they think they're still doing their podcast. I don't know if they still are.
I think so.
They did it for a little bit, obviously, because they're college teammates. But yeah, like
they always give such good insight, and I really like all of them, especially Matt Barnes after when he defended MA and then he apologized for defending. I thought that was like really because like he like talks about how he's trying to be like a actual journalist, and I like really think that's cool about him because like most former NBA players are just like, oh, I was in the league, like this shit's easy. While like Matt Barnes is actually trying to be like legit about it.
Yeah, he's trying to learn and be better in the industry. And Shaq and Chuck are just negative a lot of the time, which like they're entertaining and they're funny, but they're
more celebrities. They're not
they're very negative towards like this generation of players. But
yeah, I think Richard Jefferson.
Shaq always looks like he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing.
He wants to be doing his side missions like DJ Diesel and stuff, you know?
Shaq's Shaq's just an entertainer. Same thing with Chuck. Like at the end of the day, like I don't consider them analysts. Like I consider Richard Jefferson and Kenny Smith and Matt Barnes and I'm like thinking about. I mean Isaiah Thomas does a little bit, but Reggie Miller. All these other guys Chris Webber even, like they all do such good jobs at covering. All those are like, I think the like NBA players who actually became like journalists or like, broadcasters and actually are reputable. They
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith's another guy. And because they follow the journalism ethics, which is like, they just give it's not like they do give their opinions a bit more than a regular journalist, but they just give you the game and the inside. They just usually praise people and they talk about like someone like you said, Shaq and like Perkins kind of does it, but he doesn't dish on people. But like it's just like there's certain NBA players who go out and just be entertainers and just try to get clicks.
Yeah, you know who I think is going to be next up?
Who?
The guy who followed my podcast today, Mr. Andre Iguodala. I think he's gonna be awesome as a commentator.
Oh,
I think he's gonna be awesome.
I hope he
does he do some commentating already?
No, well, he does the podcast, but he's technically still on the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, so he's not going to do any podcast and stuff. But
I haven't listened to his podcast. Is it good?
There's a pod with Evan Turner. I think it's good.
Love Evan Turner. Why do people hate Evan Turner though?
I don't know.
Wrong era. As far as that era.
No,
I don't think they appreciate it.
Evan Turner was reborn with the Boston. Brad Stevens figured out how to use Evan Turner.
Like rebuilt his career.
But it just happened like later in his career, and then he fell out of love from basketball at like 31. But like if the Sixers again, also it was a different era. Like if he had came in the 2000s, he probably would have stayed playing his old style. But again, he was just a 6'7" point guard, not a wing, and one of the best defenders. Like really,
it's hard for this generation.
But people dish like I hear NBA players always like on pause and stuff. They like dish on Evan Turner. Have you heard that before, Luke? People dish on Evan Turner all the time.
I haven't really heard much about that, but
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was wrong,
but he followed the podcast, which I think he's going to regret doing that. But we'll see. He's a big golfer.
What's the pod number on?
212.
What do you have you grown since like you started doing the clips and stuff? Like
I don't promote the podcast.
What's your numbers on there? Like a few thousand?
All right. We've got like over 100K total.
Like listens?
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's so hard to make it in podcasting, that's why I'm wondering.
Yeah, I should promote it, but I don't like doing clips.
No, I get you. It's just like incredibly like that's why like I always say this isn't a podcast. Like, the podcast is just the audio clips of like the audio recording of the show. It's just you're just getting the audio of this show. You're fucked.
Just wait till we're in South Beach.
Yeah. But let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. I want
to move to Spokane, Washington.
Hey, Spokane wouldn't be that bad, bro. Spokane would not be that bad, bro. Spokane, let's go to the Pacific Northwest. We go Sasquatch hunting.
Yeah, I'll give that one to you. Fuck.
We can find Bigfoot, bro. You don't want to move to the Pacific Northwest?
I would actually love to move to the Pacific Northwest.
All right.
Crab cakes and football, baby. That's what
I
Maryland
don't know
does.
crab cakes in the Pacific.
No one's been able to get that quote. And you're a guy who's lived there before. Maryland and football and crab cakes. That's what Maryland does, baby.
I know, but I get that. What you want me to react every time you say it? I don't
It
fucking
includes
know.
one of my favorite actors of all time, Double V, Mr. Vince Vaughn.
Fuck, I forget that you're like a bit. You also, Luke, isn't that so funny? He's the only person that I've ever met who's one of his favorite actors.
I've never heard that. I've never.
He's the man. You ever watch Swingers? He owns
Swingers is so good.
What's the Vince Vaughn Psycho remake?
No.
That's his favorite movie.
Dude, but really, like that was the first thing I found incredible about this guy. He's the first person that ever I asked him who his favorite actor was Vince Vaughn.
But, the Vince Vaughn Psycho remake, that's his favorite movie.
What movie is Maryland Crab Cakes?
That's a Psycho remake?
Yeah, with Vince Vaughn.
There's no deaths in that movie.
Oh,
it's about heartbreak.
You got a nice comment, Luke.
There we go. Love it, TP. Love it.
Swag, I'm in Mexico, bro. I got a resi in less than 30 minutes.
Where you eating? A steakhouse?
No, we got a dinner in the show.
All right. If you got a resi, let's move on to the Suns.
Okay.
The Suns suck in the combo.
Yeah, the Suns.
No. So somebody said that the Suns might be waiting to trade Jay Crowder in a package with DeAndre Ayton after January 15th when he's trade eligible, but he can't.
Called it.
The only person, Ayton is the guy who decides where he goes. They have to ask for his permission to be traded for the next year. And right now, with that being said, I don't think there's a huge problem with the Suns besides health. And they kind of just need to get one or two. Like Jay Crowder not being there, they just need to trade Darius Arch and Jay Crowder for another guy that can go. Like, you know what? Rui Hachimura would have been great. They're just missing a guy off the bench. They're just like a guy short on the bench. I just don't think they have enough depth. That's my take.
I think
I don't even think the full strength Suns are still good enough to win the West. I think
exactly. Thank you.
They don't need to win the West. They just need to make the playoffs.
That's what I meant by in the playoffs. You have to win the West in the playoffs.
You have to make the finals, otherwise Booker's gonna be like, "Get me the fuck out of here."
Yeah, and I mean, dude, ever since D-Book went down, this team looks fucking terrible. I mean,
let me paint you a picture, Cyro. Let's say for the last year and a half, let's say we've done the podcast for almost 2 years now, and I called you Bud every time we talked. I said, "Yeah, Bud, that's a good take," and I baby brothered you every day because obviously you're younger than me, and I got the.
You're like 6 months older.
I got the what's it called where you're older? I got like more wisdom and stuff. But I play it cool, right? I don't call you Bud, right? That's what Monty Williams and the whole Phoenix Suns team does to Mr. DeAndre Ayton, and it's why I've been saying he's going to force a trade in this year. He's going to be the biggest trade of the deadline because he's been baby broed ever since he's gotten into the league, and he's their second best player.
Yeah,
give him the due respect that he deserves.
It was nice because me and Jackson were just shitting on the Suns. We just
that was nice.
We're just shitting on the Suns uninterrupted because we're like, this team.
Okay.
And they play a
Well, actually, if Devin Booker comes back, and
I found the trade. Okay, if we're gonna get rid of DeAndre Ayton, and
Buddy Hield, Miles Turner in a first is what you're gonna say.
Nah. Karl-Anthony Towns. Okay, it's gonna be a big old trade. Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. Guess who's D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns' third best friend? I'll whisper it to you.
Devin Booker. Kylie Jenner.
Devin Booker.
Okay, so we send Chris Paul somewhere, and we send fucking Aiden somewhere, and those teams send shit to Minnesota. Minnesota rebuilds on the fly, send Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Lo to Phoenix. Now Phoenix got D'Lo, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, and D-Book. Chris Paul goes to like fucking, Miami. Kyle Lowry to Minnesota. Then you send like Aiden to fucking, I don't even know who would need a center right now, but let's say the San Antonio Spurs, and the Spurs send fucking Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott.
Nothing like two shitty end of the fringe play-in teams like the Timberwolves and Suns making a trade that will not actually help their team. Let's be real here. You think Cat instead of Ayton is going to actually help this fucking team?
Cat's even more of a Cat's a bitch. Actually, that might work because Cat would be okay with getting disrespected.
Yeah, but it might work as far as that, but they're still going to be a fucking fringe play-in team. They're not beating – yeah, like the Suns are –
This is really not a bad trade. I just put on the fly.
Dennis Green said it best.
Kyle Lowry to the Timberwolves, CP3 to the Heat, D'Lo to the Suns, Aiden – wait, let me change the team that Aiden goes to. Who's the power forward?
Indiana Pacers. Miles Turner, Buddy Hield.
No, because you got
to all who we thought they were. They all who we thought they were. They're not that good.
When was the last time the Phoenix Suns scored over 90 points? I'll answer it for you. It was last year.
They had back-to-back games scoring less than 90 points.
All right, here. DeAndre Ayton.
Scored 90 points.
Redo. CP3 to the Heat, Kyle Lowry to the Timberwolves, D'Lo to the Suns, DeAndre Ayton to the Clippers. You send Norman Powell and Marcus Morris to the T-Wolves. T-Wolves sent D'Lo and Cat to the Suns.
I can't even keep track of this shit.
Okay. Now the team for the Timberwolves is Kyle Lowry, Norman Powell, Anthony Edwards, Marcus Morris, and Rudy Gobert.
And that team still loses in the play-in. That's what it is.
That's way better than what it is now, and I would be happy for it. Okay, the Clippers have John Wall, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, DeAndre Ayton, and Nick Batum or whatever the fuck they want to do there. The Suns now have D'Lo, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Devin Booker. The Heat have CP3, Martin.
The Suns are going to win the championship.
Oh no, Devin Booker's still their best option. He's never won a championship and hasn't proven me he can. Oh no.
I feel like that's not that bad of a deal.
You named
It doesn't
30
really
players
them, though.
in 3 minutes. I don't even know what the deal.
Yo, if I was a GM, GMs would hate me. I'd be calling up with the wildest trends. Like,
Zero, God damn it! I can't.
You'd be 2K'ing that shit. That's what you'd be doing. You'd be just trying to make all these dumbass trade-offs.
No, I'd be like calling up GMs. I'd be like, look, I got 4 other teams all in agreement. I already told them that you're in agreement, but I haven't talked to you yet. So here's the deal. You should do it. Whatever. I'll get you a hand job if I have to. Let's get it done.
For a handy.
Hey, the Suns are the fucking Suns. They're gonna lose in the play-in game. That's what they're gonna do. They might. Hey, you know what? I take that back. They might be the 6th seed and they might lose in the first round. Then.
And they're gonna get like swept by the New Orleans Pelicans, and
they're
Chris
gonna
Paul's gonna get upset.
That's what's gonna happen.
The whole Suns team's gonna get upset when Zion throws the game-winning dagger with 12 seconds left.
What do you guys think of Jalen Brunson?
It's
Jalen Brunson, man, goats. He went off last night.
38 in 40 minutes.
What Popovich said before the game when they asked him about beating the Knicks last time they played, he's like, "Oh yeah, Jalen Brunson didn't play that game," and then Jalen Brunson drops 38 on their head, and they win.
Like, say you remember me?
Great addition to the Knicks, man. He's everything that they need him to be right now.
Except defense.
This is the first time they've ever had a point.
Okay, but Cyro, you knew you weren't going to get any. You knew you weren't getting defense out of him anyway.
Yeah. Okay, Jalen. I know. I said that as a joke. Jalen Brunson actually has became like he's an all-star.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson was not a fluke. Jalen Brunson's actually worth the money. And the thing is they paid him Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole money when he's clearly better than both of those guys.
He's better than Tyler Hero
and Jordan Poole.
He's probably on.
If you had they're all in the same tier, but it goes Jalen Brunson, Jordan Poole, Tyler Hero. Old guy. I mean, first off, people thought Tyler Hero was going to be the next Devin Booker.
Yeah, but
maybe he can. Yeah.
That's cap. That's ridiculous. But like Jordan Poole is, I'd probably take Jordan Poole over Jalen Brunson right now if I had to say. But
Jalen Brunson's way better of a passer.
But Jordan Poole is a bucket getter, man.
I know.
Jordan Poole's
right now. If
I was a Jordan Poole hater a month ago, and we were like, he needs to take the next step. And so far, since Steph Curry's been out, he's done that. So I can't hate on Jordan Poole anymore.
He
made me eat my words. So
thank you.
If you're the Knicks, you have your 2 franchise cornerstones in Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. Is RJ Barrett that third guy, or is RJ Barrett just being held onto as a trade chip?
Held on as a trade chip because the Knicks want to move. The Knicks want to make a move for Zion in a few years.
Yeah, I like a move like that. I don't think as good as Brunson and Randall are in their own regard. I don't know if those are their.
They're not doing what the Atlanta Hawks are doing, waiting for Jaylen Brown to hit free agency. Okay, to come home.
Yeah, but the Knicks have tried that strategy of waiting for guys to hit free agency, and it didn't work. So if the Hawks think that, like, oh, we can easily get Jaylen Brown because he's going to go home, no, they got another thing coming.
That's just you being a biased Celtics fan and just hoping. We'll send you DeAndre Hunter.
He still has multiple years left on his contract. What are they going to wait for? They're going to still be
2024. He's a free agent, baby.
Yeah, and what are the Hawks aren't going to be shit by 2024.
And as of right now, the Celtics can't offer him the max contract. So
yeah, the Celtics will do everything in their power to offer him the max contract. They will do everything.
And they can't offer him as of right now. If he goes into free agency as he's right now, Jaylen Brown will be an unrestricted free agent, meaning okay.
When you wasted an NBA final and you've lost, I don't know if you're gonna pull.
No, it's fine. Luke's just in denial, and my dad's
the Celtics will do everything in their power. They will dump any contract.
I agree.
It's fine. In the sign and trade, the Hawks will send you DeAndre Hunter back.
Oh, great! I got a guy who plays half the season.
That replaces Jaylen fucking Brown. No,
if John Collins doesn't want to play with the Atlanta Hawks, why would Jaylen Brown? I don't.
Why would he's from Atlanta?
Leave a great organization and a great team right now
because he's invested a bunch of money. He's invested a bunch of money
with Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. Maybe in a decade, Jalen.
You guys are all fat.
Well, yeah, when he's like 35, he'll leave.
Exactly.
You guys know what time it is.
On a heater, can't lie. Right
is this PJ Tucker?
PJ Tucker.
No, that's not PJ Tucker.
That's PJ Tucker.
Bald
man. You guys aren't real Rocky fans. That's not even close to PJ Tucker. Wait, you know who that is? That's Jaylen Brown. No, it's not.
It's definitely not
Damn.
Jaylen Brown. No.
No, it's not because he's not in the East. I
Yeah, he's not in the
revoked it.
East.
Damn it.
It's a young guy.
Dude, he's what, 6'5"?
That's Jordan McLaughlin.
That's a really good guess.
That's a
Yeah, it is.
Wait, how tall is he? 6'4", 6'5"?
Oh!
Okay, so he's in the Northwest. He's a guard.
And he's young, and he wears a number really low. So Northwest is it's not Minnesota, so it's Portland, Minnesota,
Portland,
Utah,
Oklahoma City.
and we're missing one. Denver.
Okay.
It's not anyone on Portland because none of their guards are young enough. On Utah, not Taylor Horton Tucker. Is it?
Kind of looks like
Taylor Horton Tucker doesn't he wear a number above 6?
You were 0.
Oh my God!
It kind of looks like Taylor Horton Tucker.
For the Lakers, he did. I'm dumb. I'm terrible with numbers.
No one got that because I would say me and fucking Jackson got that one together. But
Well, yeah, you set it up.
You said it. Taylor Horton Tucker, the Lakers savior, apparently.
Because also, isn't Taylor Horton Tucker like 6'4", but he looks like he's 6'7"?
Yeah,
because he's got that
he has crazy
What?
long wingspan.
Taylor Horton Tucker was the definition of overperforming as a second-round pick for like a solid span, then getting hurt, and then they just fucking paid him for his potential.
Yeah, because they're like, dude, this guy is insane. I mean,
they chose to pay Taylor Horton Tucker over so many other guys.
Yeah.
They chose Taylor Horton Tucker over Caruso.
I like the call.
They chose Taylor Horton Tucker over Caruso.
Yeah, that was
talking about it. Utah, yeah, Los Angeles fucked that one.
Yeah, probably not a great decision there for the Lakers, but I mean, hey, hindsight's 2020. At the time,
you guys are sleeping. Utah, Danny Ainge is about to ask Taylor Horton Tucker and a 2027 first-round pick for like Karl Anthony Towns. He's gonna get that deal done.
Danny Ainge always finds a way to just finesse teams, man.
It's just gonna happen.
Taylor Horton Tucker's gonna be on a 2-way contract next year.
Whenever Taylor Horton Tucker gets traded, it'll be for a 2027 first-round pick. I guarantee it.
Danny Ainge will start the
round.
tank early. Just watch. He's gonna pull some Brooklyn Nets trade type shit again with the Jazz, and they're gonna finesse somebody for some picks.
I agree with you. I actually just
They already did it with
Conley in
Gobert,
fantasy
though, so.
basketball for that reason.
All right, you guys got any closing arguments?
I do. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Any closing arguments? Oh man, I don't know. I mean, it's fun to shit on the Suns, so I guess I'll shit on the Suns. They're gonna lose the play.
Suns are a playing team. Good night.
Yep, Suns are a playing team.
All right, you guys all suck. I hope you guys did enjoy. If we didn't see you, have a good afternoon, good evening, and good night. But if you guys did enjoy, be a friend and tell a friend. We'll be back tomorrow, same time as always, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. Good day. Au revoir, Madame Mademoiselle and Monsieur.
Adios, amigos.